So, yeah, we are starting. So, on behalf of VIT and Center for Nanotechnology Research, I welcome all of you to this session. Sagar, thank you for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. So, I may request now Dr. Speaker too. Thank you.
Shall I start?
No, Dr. Anand will introduce you.
Oh, sorry.
Just a couple of minutes.
No, thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon to all. Dr. Sudhakar Pichaimuthu is an associate professor at the School of Engineering and Physical Sciences, Heriot-Watt University, Edinburgh, UK. He is serving as an associate director for Research Center for Carbon Solutions and Lead Energy Materials and Technology team. His research background is on nanoscale catalyst development and coatings for low-cost solar to hydrogen fuel synthesis. It is mainly focuses on how to transform the abundance of sustainable solar energy into the green hydrogen generation from poor quality water like sewage, metal mine, textile dyes, pharmaceutical waste. He was a recipient of SC2 Rising Star Fellow Award from the European Regional Development Fund and Welsh government. Also, he received JSPS Fellowship and worked as JSPS Research Fellow under Professor Akira Fujishima, inventor of photoelectrocatalytic water splitting hydrogen generation phenomena at Tokyo University of Science, Japan. He has received around 800K grant as PI and co-PI for hydrogen generation projects funded by various agencies. Dr. Sudhakar is one of the leading scientists in energy conversion, device fabrication, and has published around 111 research articles in peer-reviewed international journals, citation roughly close to 5,000. His Hutchin text is about more than 40. And he has contributed to 8 book chapters. He has disseminated his work in more than 50 national and international conferences. Thank you, sir. Please.
Yeah.
Hiya.
This may I request Dr. Sudhakar to take over the session.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Nirmala. Not only. Oh, yes. Are you able to hear me? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank the organizer, Professor Nirmala Grace, the director for Center for Nanotechnology, VIT. And of course, thanks to Dr. Anand for a brief introduction about me. I will share my screen now. Can you see my screen? You please continue. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dr. Sudhakar.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I will put my time stopwatch. Okay, perfect. Hey, glad to meet you all. This is Sudhakar from Heriot-Watt University. Today I'm going to talk about quality enhancement in research project design and reports as well for accelerated impacts. The 3 keywords is how to design a perfect or a good project, as well as how to write a good report for enhanced or high visible impact statement. Okay, that's my talk today. Okay. So this is the outline of my content. I'm going to talk about why quality does matter for research proposal and reports, how to design a project, particularly keep in mind what are the do's and don'ts. We have to start the proposal. This is the most frequent question for most of the early career researcher or young minds, without any prior experience in writing proposal. And what are the key success parameters, particularly how to write with clarity and high visibility, and what is the impact and its measurement methods. This are really missing in most of the proposal. Today I'm going to give a strong emphasis in this area. And of course, how to grab the partner support or how to enhance the initial engagement in the proposal. And again, the most of the poorly written part is the risk assessment and Gantt chart. And I will conclude with the take-home message. So probably I'm going to talk the next 40 minutes, 40 or 45 minutes. If I exceed, please give me a signpost, I'll stop it. And of course, I like to discuss with detail with participants. Okay, let me start with what is project. Just forget about research proposal, your research reports. Let's understand what is project. A project is a temporary action. It might be unique, and it may be a progressive attempt. Okay? So within these three category, project will fall. Okay? What is the aim of the project? It aims to produce a tangible or intangible results. Okay? It's more like a vulnerable or non-vulnerable result. One of the examples, if you are producing a unique product, for example, software development, or if you're producing a service methodology or any kit, and how your project is benefiting other people or community, and any competitive or any advantage, etc. It's more like a project include a series of interrelated tasks. Okay, if you imagine 10 blocks in here and there, and how you're going to order in a serious way or interrelated. Okay, it is very, very important to understand the project. I will show you in the coming slides. And next one is most of the project is a fixed period of time and within certain requirements and limitations. For example, cost limitation is there, quality is there, the performance measurements is there, and some other parameters. So overall, you first understand what is the project. Okay? If you understand very clearly, then it's very easy to design a clear proposal. Okay, let's have some fun. You can see some pictures are there. For your understanding, for your voting, or for your understanding, I put some numbers. Okay, let me ask you a question. Can you put a numbers? What are all the projects, good projects, and what are all the worst projects in this picture? You can type the numbers in the comment box. Okay, just for the interactive learning, I just put this question. Just take a quick look, and most of them are photos are very elegant and beautiful. Okay, so please be careful and check and let me know at least which are the worst projects. I hope someone answered in the comment box. Let me know at least a worst or bad project design.
Is it one?
Okay, one. Cool. I can see 1 and 4, 1, 4, and 3 are the worst project. One, that good case actually. Ashwini and Magmat. Yes. Any other guess? Okay, I appreciate you. That's
fourth
yes.
one.
Fourth one, yeah. Dharani, yes, good. Worst 2, investing in wrong. Okay, good guess. Oh gosh, you're putting number 2. I don't know what's the problem in the 2. Okay, anyway, I appreciate your answer. There is no good and bad answer. Yes, all your attempts are appreciated. Yes, absolutely. The bad projects are number 1. Here, the balcony is good. You can enter into the house, but here, what is the use of this balcony? And of course, in the 4, yes, the staircase comes down, but where is the exit point? And of course, the number in 3, it's a multi-million project. You know, for example, if you started to construct, you know, in the left-hand side in a few kilometers, and the right-hand side, if you started with a few kilometers, it doesn't match each other or it doesn't connect each other. Imagine how much the public money will go lost. So now you can understand the rest of them are really fantastic projects for hanging bridges with good suspension and self-power production buildings and very elegant with a clear car parking and some other provisions. Okay, so why am I asking this question? So at the end of the day, I mean, if you plan something, you should be very clear to in a design to identify the risk and how to finish your project, as well as the interconnected task. Okay, so that's why I put the picture. Okay, let's move on to the next. Why most of the research proposals are not successful? I have seen many of my colleagues, many times we share this question, you know, so mostly get frustrated. I submitted more than 10 proposals. None of them were success. The most of them are conclude the point. The decision may be a lobbying, or the reviewer doesn't understand my proposal, or several points or several reasons. Okay? Some of them are accepted, but most of them are, we need to work a lot. The main reason is the thousands of excellent proposals, but not one uses our improved format. The key is improved proposal format should be very clear and concise and well organized. Okay? The point is, someone doesn't know your field, or someone is slightly related to your research field, they are going to review your proposal. Okay? Because the funding agency have always a limitation within time frame. For example, after the deadline, within 90 days or 4 months, they have to announce the results. So meanwhile, they have to prepare the panel list or review list. Okay, that's really critical challenge. For example, if you are submitting national postdoctoral fellowship, it's at least 5,000 or 7,000 proposals they received. Imagine that at least half, or divided by 3, at least 3,000 reviews they required around the country. Here and there contact, and they have to submit within deadline. It's a really huge job. So imagine you are writing a proposal not for public. You are writing a proposal. Someone does not understand your field, or maybe slightly related to your field. They are going to review your proposal. So only 3 people plus a panel will decide your fate of your success. So you should be clearly writing. Okay? So where to start and how to start with clear system, clear proposal. So most of the points what I have seen, in my experience, I was sitting in a national and international research panel, as well as a lot of review committee and general reviewer. A less clarity in aim and objectives. They write a blah, 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 is several pages, but what's aim? That means a one-line story of a proposal. It's really missing. And objective points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is I'm going to do. That's really missing. And most of the Indian proposals, particularly when I see the postdoc proposals, when they contact me, they always writing, too ambitious. For example, 5 or 7, 8, 10 objectives in one single proposal, like within 2 years, 3 years. They want to do everything. Okay? So be cautious. You are going to write a proposal in a very short time, like for example, 2 years, 3 years. So be clear and be realistic. That's very important. And most of the time, the interconnections are really poor. For example, a summary to content, work objectives, and work plan, deliverable milestone. There is no interconnection. That's really a big problem. And a lack of partner support. This is really important. I think a lot of young minds you joined here, keep in mind 5-10 years before, the research funding agencies are mostly focused on innovation. That means what's the novelty of the project. Okay, that era is slowly fading. Now they are mostly expecting what is the engagement. Okay, engagement is how you're going to demonstrate this project from your laboratory to the market. Okay, so the partner support is very important. So this is really missing nowadays. And of course, inclusivity missing. I'm going to point out in some slide, for example, what is the gender equality, and some other questions are really missing. Okay, so these are all the reasons behind why your proposal is not succeed. Okay, I can give a simple cartoon how to start design the project. Let's design, develop a little bit further, analyze. That means check, read, polish, fish, and again evaluate yourself as well as your colleagues, your mentor, your supervisor, or whatever it may be. As long as if you have a multi-tool correction and evaluation, definitely you get a very refined proposal in the final stage. Again, come back to design. It's a cyclic process. Okay. Okay, let's have another fun question. Anyone guess what is the picture? What is the statue? A lady carries the torch. What is this picture? Would you please comment in the chat box? Statue of Liberty. A fantastic answer. Thanks, Madhyalagan. Yes. Statue of Liberty. Yes. Thanks, Mama. Okay. The answer is Statue of Liberty. Okay. And another question is, the statue was dedicated on October 28, 1886. Then you can understand it's how it old. Okay. Now the question is, which one is correct statement? Statue of Liberty was constructed with a single piece of stone, integrated with prefabricated pieces, more like offshore construction, constructed with multiple stone on-site built, that is built on the site, okay, and built by a single person. Which statement is correct? One, yes, sorry, A, B, C, D. You can just answer A, B, C, D, anyone in the comment box. Any guess? Sorry, it may be disturbing you. B, okay. Dashini, any other guess? Well, you can Google it quickly. It's easy. Okay. Okay, I'll tell the answer. Destiny, your answer is right. It's integrated with prefabricated pieces, particularly donated by France. Okay, it's really exciting, you know. Those days in 18th century, later stage of 18th century, France sent piece by piece, you know, the complete statue by ship to France to America, and they perfectly fit in the States. Okay, then you can imagine that how the project design is fantastic. Okay, so again, I'm emphasize. So the end of your product, if you want to make it a very perfect without any flaw, the project design is very important. Okay, you can see here it's more like a kids playing with college. Okay, so even if you miss any single task or any single piece, the entire project will ruin. Okay, so if you want a perfection, if you want 100%, or perfect delivery, the design is very important. Okay. Okay, let's start. Where we start? So first one, please understand the call advertisement. I give you one good example. This is not latest one. I got it one during COVID time. The government of India published a short-term research grant, particularly nanocoding COVID-19. Okay, so first, this is most of the calls look like several paragraphs with objectives and different content. Okay, so what are the key points you need to understand from the call advertisement? First, you need to focus on what is the call objective, particularly precisely what it tells. Okay? The second one, what is the duration of the project? It's a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year, or some months, 6 months. And what is the budget limit? Of course, very important is deadline. Okay, and if you have any query, don't hesitate. Always send an email or call them. The contact details provided in the under notice or under advertisement. Okay, so this is another good example snapshot I took from EPSRC UK website or UK research agencies. Okay? Here you can see a very precise and very clear statement. What is the deadline or timeline of the proposal chart, and these are all the key important information. Who can apply? What we are looking for? That means what's the funding looking for? How to apply? How we will access your application? At least these 4 parameters are very, very important. Okay, so who can apply? It clearly tells about your eligibility. I know many people after the proposal preparation, they understand they are not eligible. It's really painful. Okay, so please take a printout and read at least several times and check your eligibility. If you have any doubts, contact the funding agency. Shall I eligible for this call? Okay, really save your time. What we are looking for, this is absolutely very important. How your proposed idea is in line with the funding agency requirement. Okay? This is a more important point to for your success rate. How to apply? Most of them you know how to do that, or you need some preliminary work to register the website, and you should create a login ID and everything. Okay? And more important thing, many people missing, or many people doesn't want to read the document, how we will access your application. If anyone asks me, what is your secret of a high success rate of proposal? I'm always telling you this is called a blueprint. Okay, how the reviewers or panel going to access your application. It's a secret, very, very straightforward secret. Okay, please go through the score assessment sheet. Each part, for example, some people give a introduction background 10% and impact 50%, engagement 50%. Okay, so you can clearly understand which part is important. Based on that, you can write clearly. Okay. Now again, let's start with the. Now we can understand what's the project and how to understand the proposal call. Let us move to the barrier. Okay, the proposal or the funding agency, funding call categorized in several ways. One is the early career fellowship. For example, if you're a PhD student, or if you apply some postdoctoral fellowship award, or even if you apply a PhD fellowship. Sometimes if you want to apply a postdoctoral award like a JSPS or Marie Curie Fellowship Award. Suppose if you are a faculty member, you're applying a standard grant called to the DST or DPT, or sometimes if you want to apply a consortium type project with multiple members like Horizon Europe or some other UK India proposal or UK India Europe proposal. Okay, so you need to categorize in which discipline you are going to apply. Okay, so it's pretty much sure that the formula or the writing strategy is not same for all the proposals. Okay, so you need to be balanced based on the which category you are going to apply. Okay, so first identify yourself. What's your need and focus? Of course, you have to make a storyboard or a preliminary assessment. Okay, you start with what is the topic, why is this topic important. Okay, you have to generate a self questions, research questions, and put it like a PowerPoint or in a Word file. So in my experience, I can give you a good tip. Don't ever jump in directly on the Word document with questions, because most of the people struggling with words, how to align, write and delete. See, best practice is put a storyboard like the PowerPoint and write your different questions. Okay, what are the questions presented in or in asking the proposal? Put it in each category in PowerPoint. Okay, and make a bullet points, your key type keywords, answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some evidences, supporting document list, and this is the best way. And after that, you will expand this information in a Word file. That's very easy. Okay. And of course, these are all the other questions. What are your hypotheses? What are your research methods? And why your research or project is important or significant? Each point emphasize with clear sentences, and don't use any very complicated phrases or unknown abbreviations. Okay, suddenly jump with the WFO, something like that. Okay. First explain it, and then later on you have to use the abbreviations. And will you be undertaking experimental research or clinical research or any theoretical research or case study or field visit or whatever it may be? Okay. So the first point is to make a self questions storyboard. That's a starting point. Okay. I would like to show you here what is the real world, the success rate in a different funding agencies. I'm not able to collect the results in Indian funding agencies, but I can give you a picture on how UKI, like ESRC, overall in UK funding success rate. You can see in the x-axis funding decisions, number of proposals submitted or take a decision, and y-axis clearly gives an idea of success rate in terms of percentage. You can see the average, the more number of success rate falls in between 25 to 35 or maximum 40, even not 40, 25 to 35%. So imagine if 100 proposals are shortlisted for a review, the success rate is averagely 25 to 35. That means 65 proposals are rejected. Then you can understand how the competition goes. In most cases, to be honest, sometimes the percentage rate, success rate is even less than 1% some cases, sometimes 10%, sometimes 20%, based on the thematic call or general call. So keep in mind, you are writing a proposal that should be between 25 to 35%. Okay, so imagine the competition. In overall, in a world perspective, if you compare German Research Foundation, UK Research Council, and states NIH and European Research Council, you can see the European Research Council proposals are still very competitive. The maximum success rate is 50%. Okay, the UK is, as I mentioned, more like a 25 to 30%. Germany is somehow better than this area. So it's not meaning that German proposals are easy. Maybe their methodology, this pattern is different. Okay, or maybe the people, those who are living in German or the researchers in German, they know how to write the proposal or how to approach the proposal very clearly or cleverly. Maybe I take it in a different way. Okay. Anyway, so even around the world, the success rate is not 100%. For example, 1,000 people applying the proposal, all 1,000 people doesn't get the proposal, okay? So the success rate is again based on the funding availability, the criteria, how you're writing, how you're convincing, how you're justifying the proposal. Okay, now I'm going to ask you another quick quiz or question. Tell me honestly, if you see an announcement, call advertisement with deadline for 10 weeks. So, for example, first announcement in the first week, the deadline at 10th week. So I want to know your approach. When do you want to submit your proposal? The fourth week, the sixth week, 8th week, 9th week, final week, a few hours ago to deadline, or the same on deadline day. Would you please answer honestly? You can feed your answer in the comment box, chat box.
Generally, final week.
Okay, appreciate. 9th week or last week, that's good. It's more realistic usually. Deadline day, yes, most of the time I did this. Final week, excellent. Final week, yes, it's I expect this answer, yes. The most of them we are working with several deadlines and other commitments, teaching or other research, other personal commitments. So yeah. But the survey tells that the most of the successful proposals are, if you submit in 8th to 9th week, you have a good or high success rate. Okay, at least 10 days before, please submit your proposal to your research office for any further approval or budget approval or whatever it may be, or any certificate. Or don't submit in final week or a few hours ago or in deadline day. I know it's very, very tough, but again, I'm emphasizing the missing part is the storyboard and your commitment in the project design. You have a 10 weeks at least, or even if you 4 weeks, based on that, make a very clear storyboard and what are the do's and don'ts, what you really need in records and supporting documents, everything, make it in advance. Okay. And if you work with multiple partners, make a chart, storyboard, and invite them multiple discussion and assign with one coordinator, one guy is writing notes. So as long as if you make a clear storyboard and proper plan and time and chart, without any complication, you can submit your proposal in advance. In UK, we have a very standard regulation. At least 10 days before, we need to submit our proposal for final approval from institute head, as well as finance office, as well as the research office. Otherwise, it doesn't care about who you are, they simply reject your proposal. Okay, so please keep in mind. So please submit your proposal, relax, and multiple time correction and polishing the manuscript. So polishing the research proposal. Okay. Okay. So here a simple idea, back to start and how to understand the structure of the proposal. Okay. So the left-hand side, as I mentioned, begin early, apply early and often, and cover letter and some other frequent questions are here. And more important point I want to emphasize that be explicit and specific and be realistic in the design project. Okay. Right-hand side, Okay, if you start for, as I mentioned, you need to identify your needs and focus and find prospective grants, develop general proposal and budget, and submit with the letter of inquiry and everything. It's ready, submit the proposal. And this is a post-review time, no worry, okay? So if you get the project, then your research office will guide you how to demonstrate the project and how to get the funding. So today I'm going to mostly talk about the left-hand side, okay? So this is a general picture. Again, I'm repeating the same point as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of my lecture. The most of the time, the funding agency facing the problem, the reviewer, to invite the reviewer in time. For example, if you are submitting the proposal review in Christmas time or Diwali time or Pongal time, so the funding agency contacted me, so that can you review the proposal? Okay, when is the deadline? On Pongal or after Pongal next day? No, I said no. It's a really critical need. Sometimes even if I accept it, my mood is completely add the proposal quickly, without deep reading or put some score randomly. So you don't know this type of stories, what are happening behind the review. Okay, so the best part is you have to clearly write the background of the proposal to provide a solid start and foundation to the proposal. Simply, you need to give a clear background. That background will be helpful to anyone read, even the person or reader is not in your field or even not related to your field. Sometimes your proposal, maybe if you're a chemist, sometimes your proposal read by physics, or sometimes read by engineering faculty, or sometimes a social science professor. Okay, so sometimes it will happen. These days, funding agencies' methodology is changing a lot. For example, if without background, it's really critical to understand your proposal. More like this picture, the people, block their eyes and they only touching anything what they understand. Okay, so this is most of the time a review situation when reading the proposal without any proper background. So background is very important. Please give as long as a fantastic information, more fundamental information, as long as is provided. Imagine that if you want to build a school, your project background need to explain. These are all some questions. For example, you need to explain the current situation in the field of education and community you want to work in. How many schools are there? How are attendance rates? How is this education overall in the country you work in? Are there any specific reason why you want to build a new school? Or there are too many students for this existing school? You can compare it. So these are model. Okay. So the background will explain multiple questions to provide a first-hand information to the reviewer. Okay. For example, data in numbers. I know many of the proposals writing higher than, lower than, big, small. Please don't write any generic statement. Be specific the number. For example, 1.35 million tons of carbon dioxide emission in this particular technology. Where your technology position is rapid or exponential or slow, we give some statistics. And even you can comparative with you can give some comparative figures, what happened in 150 years before and now, or even compared to last quarter or last 10 years, what's happening now and why your proposal need at the moment. Okay, so be specific with numbers, statistics, comparative figures. Okay, then the success for your proposal, I'll give you a quick formula. Please keep in mind 3 E's. What is the 3 E? The effectiveness, efficiency, and equity. It's more like the effectiveness. That means do research inputs lead to outputs, or outcomes create any impact? The efficiency means it's a simply ratio between the output and input. For example, how well do research inputs lead to research outputs? And equity, yes, is the research achieving specific goals, reaching certain beneficiaries, or addressing specific health needs, or something. It's one example for a clinical type proposal. So if you have a time, please go through this article. Okay, more like efficiency, effectiveness, and equity. Efficiency always rely on the quality of the research process and project design, and effectiveness always proposes with academic outputs of research as simply mere outcomes like milestone and deliverables. And equity is absolutely goes for how the proposal creates the impact. So the 3E is very, very, very important. Okay, so keep in mind. Okay, now there are key strategies. As I mentioned, when you make a storyboard, populate several questions, which should be, what is your specific aims and hypothesis? And the question should be valid, innovative, and worthwhile. And particularly, I want to emphasize, you should identify the gap in the literature. I have seen some proposals, they summarize different literature, but finally they forgot to conclude it. Yes, they did this methodology best, but the problem is all these methodologies either expensive or it take a long time, like a 24 to 48 hours or 1 week synthesize developing the material or methodology. But my method is to make a rapid, like a 1 minute or 1 hour, something like that. You can identify the gap in the cost or production time or in the scale, reproducibility, or whatever it may be. Okay? Please precisely point out, identify the gap in the literature. Okay? Of course, mostly the project summary should contain different components and write clear, concise, and complete, and mostly summarize the current knowledge. Okay. Yeah, the one more point I would like to point it out. The goal of your study, the goal means the aim of the proposal. It should be clearly aligned with the listed in the call application or vision of the funding agency. This is a serious problem. That's why I'm telling, before applying, please check the call guidelines, what they are looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parameters, 6 field they are asking. So how your methodology or your proposed work or goal will align the funding agency vision or enlisted parameters. Okay. Study methodology, yes, this is absolutely about your experimental methodology. Work packages 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, in work plan, if you prepare the material synthesis, work plan 2, characterization, work plan 3, reproducibility or scale up or demonstration. So whatever it may be, so the research methodology should be clearly explained with the plan and with some cartoons or some schemes and flow chart. Okay. The sample, often please mention the sample size, how many samples you are going to. Sample size means, for example, if you are taking a field survey, how many people you are going to take a survey, like 100 people or 1,000 people, it is a region-wise or country-wise, or within the university, something like sample size is very important. And of course, the analytical plan is feasible and appropriate. Okay. Keep in mind that the most of the project, not most of all the projects are time frame. Okay, either 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or some 2 months even sometime. So please design your project in accord to the time frame. Okay. Sometimes if you, the most of the time the Indian students I have seen, they over promise. Okay, too much. For 3 years they write 5 years content. Okay, and also they are promising 5 or 6 different techniques or 10 materials in 2 years. This is not realistic. Okay, so my suggestion is always go with some benchmarking material and propose one material. Okay? How you are going to synthesize and compare it. This is one good example. You can fit any other field. Okay. And of course, how you can invite the stakeholders, industry or your institute supporting letter, or your director supporting letter, or your colleagues, how they are seeing the proposals, value addition to them, or okay, how it's benefit to the women. Okay, that's please mention the stakeholders. Yes, this is another ridiculous area. I'm telling budget. The budget, most of the proposal, they write a single sentence, travel and subsistence. I'm going to attend, or the applicant want to attend 2 conferences, required 15,000 rupees, blah, blah, blah. And applicant want to buy 1 laptop plus 2 software, required 50,000 rupees. Please be clear that this is a critical component to decide your success rate in a panel discussion, not in a preliminary review. I know when I'm sitting in a panel, are really expecting a detailed breakdown cost and justifying it properly. Otherwise, even your proposal is really nice, sometimes you may reject or put a low score. That low score affect your success rate. Okay, finally, end of the final lecture, I'll explain how the panel discussion is going. Okay, that also very, very important to understand. So the right hand side, I give you a kind of a typical breakdown justification of resources, we call JOR. So each category, please write elaborately with a clear picture. What's the purpose? Okay. One good example in my experience, when I submitted the proposal to the EPSRC proposal or UKRI, for example, travel and subsistence. If I need 30,000 pounds, write clearly where you want to go. For example, I want to attend the Indian Chemical Society conference. I want to attend the Material Research Congress in USA. Write it and break down it. What is the visa cost if you travel abroad? What is the lodging accommodation? What is the food pro rata per as per the DAT or the DST or whatever it may be? Okay, so make it a very, very detailed breakdown cost. That's very important. As I mentioned, the quality of the proposal is processed with a critical components in minute manner. Okay, so if you write about salary, it mentioned about your grade, and these are all the details. And right, if you want to ask a consumable, please write clearly what are the supporting equipments you want. For example, machine time like a 7-10 cost. Consumable means what are the chemicals you want. So give some rough idea, substrates or materials, something like that. You can write clearly. Don't put a single sentence. Okay, that will affect your overall success rate. Okay, let's move to another critical component. There are many times we confuse with the two terms, milestone and deliverable. Okay, it's more look like a very similar meaning, but absolutely it's not same. Okay, for example, a deliverable is a report while you send to the commission or agency, funding agency, that providing information to ensure effective monitoring of the project. Okay? For example, specific activities or results, data management plans, ethics or security requirements. These are all a type of example of deliverables. Okay, so don't write too many things in deliverables. Deliverable means simply how you're going to measure or monitoring the project. Okay, so it should be measurable. What about the milestone? Milestone is a kind of a big achievement. Okay? It's a big achievement or a precise key result. That's called milestone. Okay? For example, we develop a fantastic, fast analyzing software from this proposal, or I develop a rapid synthesized protocol for 50 nanometer particles, 2 nanoparticles, or I develop a battery stored bicycle which sustain for 300 kilometers in a single charge. Something like a pinpoint of what is the output, big achievement. The deliverables are the measurable techniques or measurable outputs. Okay, data management or some others, even if you publish some papers or attending conferences, these are all come under the deliverables, not in a milestone. Milestone is a big achievement. Okay, so as I mentioned, when you write the milestone statement, be precise. Don't write a generic statement. For example, if you write about this will create an operational plan and blah, 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 and write what is the agency you are targeted. Okay, so that's very important. So if you mention some positions, clearly mention what is the position. Okay. Again, the another confusing term is outcomes. Again, this is very close to deliverables and milestone. Okay. In a general perspective, outcomes means deliverable and milestone. So that's why most of the time we are often confused with this term. Okay? So make clear, outcomes is expected effects or how the project supported under given topic. Okay? For example, how you're going to make a dissemination and exploitation measurements. Okay. For example, I'm going to measure the crystalline structure of the nanomaterial by X-ray diffraction material. Or I'm going to make a survey in a particular value region by using this software. So it's more like talk about the methodology, a sample size, some other details. Okay, so that's more relevant to your methodology. That's called outcomes. Okay, so make with clarity, milestone, deliverable, and outcomes. But when you're writing in a statement, don't write any generic statement. Put as long as more precise points, statistics, and some other parameters. The outcomes example, for example, if you take uptake by airports, clearly mention the number. 9 European airports adopt the advanced forecasting system demonstrating during the project. Other good example, high use of the scientific discovery published. For example, the relative rate of citation index of the project publication. And one more example is a major electronic company mentioned Samsung or Apple exploits or uses their new product in their manufacturing. You understand? So the idea is please understand the difference between the deliverables, milestone, and outcomes, and be right very precisely. And please be careful with the target groups. Okay, so the airports, offices, non-residentials, whatever it may be. Okay, the mention clearly in the document. Okay, who are the end user or the beneficiaries, or which community are going to benefit from your proposal. Okay? I think almost I crossed the 40 minutes. Shall I take another 10 to 15 minutes?
Yes,
Anand,
Sudhakar.
sir?
Yeah,
Okay.
10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, sure.
Yes, yes, sure. So because I'm a bit slow today. Okay. Let's move to the impact section. Okay. So I'll push it further quickly. Okay. Yeah. Another component is a critical component is we call it as a DNE and C. That's a dissemination, exploitation, and communication. Okay? This is simply how your project is going to disseminate to outside lab, or how you push your technology from the laboratory to the pre-market stage or pilot stage or the industry. Communication in the sense how you're communicating your science language, because we are scientists, irrespective of any field, science and engineering. So how you're going to speak to the other people, layman, public, school kids. Okay, so because we are carried out this research by public money, which we're responsible. So you should know how to speak to the community. For example, if some press news you want to give, so you need to know how to write the press news content. Or when you give an interview in a social media channel or any TV channel or press printed stuff. So you need to learn how to communicate. So please mention all these things in your proposal. Okay. So there is always a dissemination, exploitation, communication component is there in every proposal. So categorize it clearly, okay, and write the number, sample size. If you, we are planning to conduct a small hands-on experience in the school. No, which school? Or tell at least in a value region, boys school or girls school, how many numbers you're targeting, what is their age, so what is the health and safety, what your pre-cost measurement, what is the pre-approval. Write it. Already we contacted the principal, something like that. Or we will showcase the Indian, engineering exhibition, something, blah, blah, blah. Some expected date or month. Okay. So all these are come under the dissemination plan. Okay. For example, as I mentioned, these are all my, what I'm routinely doing, public engagement, showcase our research demonstration with small kids' toys, and research publication, poster presentation around the world. I'm happy to travel and meet the young people, and invited the industry and showcase our research and the student exchange, faculty exchange. So these are all different components. You can write elaborately your plan under the dissemination. Okay, so whenever you provide more information, you will get more score. But keep in mind that should be realistic. Again, the final part, I will try to quick finish in 10 minutes. Impact. This is greatly missing in most of the proposal. Because I'm telling the truth, we are researchers in a years, we have a very good experience to how to write the scientific part. For example, background, we are very confident. The literature we will write. Objectives, we can somehow manage. Methodology part, absolutely, again, it's a scientific part. You can write your own methodology with cartoon or scientific figure or a scientific illustration. But most of the people struggling how to write the impact. Impact means, according to the ESRC, Economic and Social Research Council, the research impact as the demonstrable contribution that excellent research makes to the society and the economy. Very simply, someone asks you, what is the use of your research? Or how you are responsible for the public money by doing research? What is the output for society and economy? That is called impact. So impact can be categorized in several categories. So one is the academic impact. That means how your own research will help you to the colleagues in your field or interdisciplinary field to adapt a new type of research from your outcomes. That's called academic impact. If you're deriving new type of material synthesis or characterization protocol, okay, how you're going to help, it will help to the colleagues. The next one is very important, economic and societal impact. Very serious point. Economic, yes. Economic can be categorized several ways. Either it should be a larger picture, like a country-wise or regional-wise or industrial-wise, okay? So tell the number, for example, the existing process is required at least this much amount, for example, 2.5 lakhs per 1 hour something. But my proposal is target and reduce the time when I can produce in 25,000, 10 times I can reduce, or 25 times I can reduce the cost. And also, as well as it's affordable to all small scale industries. These are all the economic impact statement. How your proposal is helpful to the economic area. Societal impact, for example, I'm developing a kind of, I get some message. Oh, sorry. So the societal impact, for example, if you're developing a water filter, you can clearly mention that, yes, in this region, approximately 1.5 million people are affected with dental fluorosis or heavy metal issues, like a cancer or some lung issue or something. Put some references. After the outcome of the proposal, designing a nanofilter will help this much people to safeguard in health-wise. So as well as the Indian government or the local Tamil Nadu government can save some this much million rupees for the health sector. So these are all called societal impact. Okay? Tell number, tell region, tell sample size, who is your target people, and how much, how you can impact in this area. So keep in mind, nowadays, most of the funding agencies are put 25 to 40% weightage goes to the impact statement. Okay. For example, the funny thing, for example, if the proposal is 40 pages or 25 pages, the impact statement only two page or 1 page. But keep in mind, this 1 page or 2 page will go to the 25 to 40% weightage compared to the several pages. Okay. So please now start to practice how to write the impact statement. This is very, very important. Okay. I'm going to push quickly. Again, the impact can be instrumental, conceptual, and capacity building. The capacity building means how your proposal develop your institutional capacity. For example, extending the equipments, infrastructure, or more number of access points, welcoming more people, or these all comes under the capacity building. Okay, there are several research articles available, several type of examples available in the internet. Okay, please practice it. And of course, again, I can give you a quick clue. You can write the impact. For example, you can conduct, you can write it. You will organize a seminar, workshop, or placement. Placement means a short-term placement from the industry. People can visit either way. Collaborative research with the international or national. So these are all, it's a good impact example. Again, I am pointed out, you should be write clearly with scientific statement, how it increasing the economy and what is the size. There's a few example. Okay, I'm I'm going to give another clue. Yeah, I can understand the impact statement, but is there any formula to pick the impact points? It's called SMART analysis. SMART means abbreviation of specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's called SMART. Make a chart, SMART. So, for example, specific, what you're going to do in a particular problem, maybe what's your objective, make a storyboard. How we are going to measure? Measure means how you're going to take observation or data collection or methodology. Achievable, what you're going to achieve in a particular framework. Relevant, it's what type of skills and experiences for the participants. What are the relevant experiences you want? Okay. Time bound, of course, what is the time bound? It is a medium scale or a long estimate scale. I mean, some projects output you can realize in 1 or 2 years or 5 years. For example, if you develop the vaccination, maybe the impact maybe you can realize in after 10 years. When the kids they take 1 to 2 years old, you can avoid some big diseases in 25 years old. Okay, but some of the projects, if you develop some coating technology, if you go to industry in 2-3 years, you can see the impact in 3 years. Okay, so categorize it whether it's a short term or long term or medium term. The one good example I'm giving in my recent proposal. So I categorize the specific impact, how I'm going to measure this impact. What is the achievability? Very likely or likely, okay, strong or medium, how it relevance and timeline. Okay, so sometimes this table will help you to avoid the big writings or reviews will be boring. Try to give more pictures with clarity. Try to give more tables. It's sensible. Okay, too many tables also are really great, but give some a clear picture. That will help the review. The pre-final part is a Gantt chart or timeline. This is a very important point to understand how you're realistic, and this is the backbone of the project design. If you're not properly designed this timeline chart, definitely you lose the score, as well as even if you get the project, it's very difficult to demonstrate. I will share you. I will tell you. In the post-award time, that means if you get the project, every year you have to write a report to the funding agency, or you have to attend or present the outcomes to the funding agency. The funding agency, they take the timeline chart. They always ask you a question. Number one question: are you follow the timeline chart, or do you have any problem or any gaps or any issues in the quarters or in your original timeline chart? Okay, so this is absolutely very important to running the project smoothly, as well as it will give you a good impression to the reviewer. You are seriously designing this project. Okay, the one simple project design I'm giving you, align the enlisted your task at left hand side. Okay, make more detail and put it in a quarters or month wise based on your requirement. And 2 point very important: where is your deliverables and milestone position? For example, deliverable 1 to A to B, I can get it in year 1, for example, quarter 1 to quarter 3, T2, maybe quarter 2 to quarter 3. The milestone I can achieve in the end of the year. So, and one more thing, I can see in the most of the Indian proposals, they use a very strong color, red color, purple color, and pink color. Please avoid it. Please don't use any colors when you highlighting the columns. Use a very light, mild colors. Okay, and the more professional timeline chart. This is one I recently submitted to a European proposal. The more interconnectivity, that's very important. More interconnectivity, and point out exactly where your proposal stand. I mean, your deliverable and milestone stand. And most of the people missing component is pre-start and post-start and project management. They always missing. In reality, you need some time to hire the postdoc, PhD, or time to consume to buy some consumable or literature survey. Please include it, or like a 0 package. And the second one is more like the project management, how you liaise with project research office. Okay, these are all also very important. And please consider about the communication and dissemination part also. Okay, so this is I think me and my partner, we take 1 week to design this work plan, day and night. Okay, it's not easy, but when it goes to reviewer, they say, wow, because it's very clear, very detailed, and where it interconnections, it's very clear. Okay, so be clear. And risk assessment. This is a really seriously again missing component, as I mentioned earlier. Every proposal they're asking, what is the risk assessment? That means you have to analyze your project, what are the parameters are under the risk, and what is the risk level. If you mark it like a 1 to 5, 1 is strong, 2 is mild, and 5 is nothing, for example, or in a reverse way, you have to categorize it in what is the rank. Okay, and third one is very important. What is the remedy, or what is the plan B to manage the risk? For example, if I develop a photocatalyst material, absolutely good. But sometimes what happened, the supply chain, the material supply chain from Sigma Aldrich or some other companies, they stop the product. Okay, so how am I going to manage the supply chain? Precursors. Sometimes you are planning to utilize some coating methodology, for example, sputtering or some other sensor development or solar cell fabrication. You may believe some system will help you existing in your organization. What happens if it failure? It will take sometimes 3 months, 6 months, sometimes fund lagging, or engineers, they take a long time to come and fix it. So how you're going to? What's the plan B? Any additional equipments already existing in your organization? Did you already contact them? Take a pre-permission and see, I'm going to apply a proposal. Shall I use some time? I can pay it. So these are all the risk assessment. The reviewer put a good score if you self-critic yourself and identifying the risk yourself very thoroughly with the plan B and rating with a good number. You get a very, very good score. And I can say the proper risk assessment will promote the quality of your proposal. Okay, please keep in mind. And of course, a letter of support. Yes, please do not hesitate to ask the supporting letter from your director, your professor, or any small scale companies around your region or any big players. The 3 points I'm always emphasize. Please mention the letter. What is the contribution from industry partner or academic partner, cash or in kind? Sometimes they're happy to provide small cash like 5,000, even 1,000 rupees also very important. Okay, in kind means they can give you some samples, or they can give you kind of indirect support instead of direct cash. Okay, please ask them to mention this supporting letter. There's some of the models I provided here. I just blocked for the confidentiality. How they can help to transfer your technology. If suppose some companies, some consultancies are happy to transfer your technology from laboratory to prototype or to some field test or clinical trial, try to mention it. Sharing the field knowledge. Sometimes you can ask. So when you contact the company, they ask you, what do you want from me, or what do you expect from me? So you can ask them. So would you please mention to sharing the field knowledge, particular industrial knowledge to the research people? That's really important. Okay, and sometimes you can invite them to attend your progress meeting, either 3 months one, 6 months one, annual meeting. They come and evaluate a proposal. Oh, they will identify the gaps. Why don't you do this? They will give some suggestion. So please write it. Secondment. But sometimes you can travel to the industry to stay 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. You can learn something. Or you can invite the industry people to come over to your lab. So these are all called secondment. Even you can mention it. This type of information will increase your score. Okay, and keep in mind, whenever you write the proposal, think that you are funding agency or you are a reviewer. Just in a transitional way, okay, just think in an opposite position. Or the left-hand side, and recently I was sitting in a government panel for industry proposals. There are several score sheet. The one column is transformational assessment. This is 23%. I'm going to assess, okay, for different parameters. This is my scoreboard. The notes for applicant, they give you in the blueprint. What is my comment? Okay, I will tell the secret. The most of the people really missing the blueprint. If you write the proposal, just answer it all the questions one by one. Definitely you get out of 5, you can get 5. Or out of 10, you can get at least 8 to 9. Very rarely we put 10. Okay? But most of the time, people doesn't read the blueprint and question, or they simply omit the questions. Sometimes they put NA not available or something, it doesn't care. Okay? So please be careful. Try to answer all the questions within the word limit. Sometimes instead of writing a big paragraphs, write a single phrases like a highlights, like with bullet points is appreciable, because you don't have much time to review the proposal. Sometimes I review 20 proposals in a 1 week, or 5 proposals in a day. Okay. And the funny thing, finally it goes to the panel. The panel is going to assess top 25 proposal. The competition between the 22 proposals is very thin, like a 0.5 to 2 marks. Very narrow region. They are going to award only 5 awards, but imagine that the 0.5 to 2.5. It's more like how people are getting the engineering college question in Anna University or IITs, very competition, very thin. So please don't avoid or don't leave the questions blank. Okay. And these are all the very critical of frequently asked question. It is not available in a textbook, or it is not available in a research report. So this comes from your own knowledge or your own practice. What is the key for this? You have to approach or make a case study, make a storyboard, ask others, colleagues. The most of the time I face the question, many of my friends and colleagues, they ask me, shall I get the model for supporting this? Shall I get some model proposal? Please don't do it. Every proposal have unique and creativity. It doesn't work out for that. It's more like fitting your legs in others' sandals or shoes. Please don't do it. So the creativity will die. I can see if the most of the proposals, it's interesting because of their own creativity. Okay? If they write in a very standard format, it's nothing interesting. Okay? So again, these are all the questions. For example, how will you sustain or continue the research or partnership after the grant support? For example, if you apply the 1-year proposal, or 2-year proposal fellowship, postdoctoral fellowship, so they ask you, after 2 years, what are you going to do? How you are going to continue research? So you can justify them, yes, these outcomes are as a kind of proof of concept data. It helped me to apply a big grant outside, or I can apply for this award will help me to secure a permanent position in some big university or organization, whatever it may be. So tell them clearly. In my experience, when I applied the UK-Turkey proposal, the upper limit, I mean, if you get above 40 out of 60, you can get the funding. I got a 46 out of 60, but I didn't get. Then I asked the people, I got a fantastic score, what you require, but why I failed? So the feedback, this is the answer. You didn't clearly mention that how you are going to sustain the Turkey relationship after this proposal. Okay, so that's sustainability is very important. And inclusive statement, for example, gender equality, first to work, etc. So these are all the underrated statement. Gender equality, yes, we include women. That's it. This is a type of hell answer. Don't do that. Please discuss with your women colleagues, your research or women professors or women scientists or women industrialists. Ask them, take some questions. Okay, would you please help me in 2 weeks' time to answer simple keywords? What are the problems? To listen them and write it. Don't put it a desktop statement. Okay, Google it and write it. So no, these are all very realistic. Okay, this is very serious at the moment in all the funding agencies. And try to do more homework for how your proposal is beneficial to your home country or host country or worldwide, or how it benefits to your individual, yourself, as well as institution. So again, these are all the information not available in internet. Sometimes you need to work a lot. And sometimes they will ask you how you develop the contact between your co-investigator or co-host supervisor. So don't hesitate to write elaborately how you make a meeting arrangements, how often you discuss it, and what are the conclusion it, and write it clearly. And recent days, I have seen a common statement, COVID impact statement. I know many people are suffered with COVID environment, COVID lockdown. So write it point by point. They will appreciate you. Sometime it will make a good impression on you. And of course, how this proposal impact on your academic career or career trajectory. So please discuss with your supervisor or your institute head or director. See how this proposal is helped me. They will help you. They will give you some idea. Okay. So put it down. So this is again why we need to provide a funding for it. Okay. That's the answer. These are all the critical questions. Research integrity, I'm going to finish because I took 2 minutes extra. Okay. Be honesty. Acknowledge all the citations. Be sincere for the funders, and open communication means at least try to publish some open platform over all the results. And responsible innovation is we are going to take we are going to demonstrate a research based on public money. So please be sincere. Okay, and please understand the technology readiness levels. One good example, if you categorize the TRL 1 to 9, the good example is the NASA developed their own jet engine in 2005, but they started the research 20 years before in 1980. It's called TRL 1 to 2. They start with the simulation and they prepare some prototype materials and they tested with the pilot scale and one by one, stage by stage. So sometimes most of the technology proposals, you can mention clearly where you start your proposal start with TRL and end at the proposal where you finish, or further funding seeking where it moves. So give a signpost where you are. This will really improve your quality of your proposal. So I'm going to start. So take a message, start with, go through the call advertisement, clearly, eligibility deadline, and make a storyboard. As I mentioned, don't jump into and fight with your content and writing in English language, okay? So make a storyboard. Arrange the supporting documents, make a to-do list early. Keep in mind the success parameter, clarity and visibility. As I mentioned, put a smart analysis, make a clear risk assessment, and internal corrections always help you. In our case, UK, we have an institution policy. We share the confidentiality to share the proposal with colleagues or institute head or research office. They will help some corrections, okay? So it always helps. Multiple correction, multiple inputs are really helping to shape your proposal. Please avoid last-minute submission. And finally, don't give up your negative results, okay? Work it on your feedback and resubmit. In my experience, 1:10. If I submit 10 proposals, I will get 1. So the key is attempts. All attempts are appreciable, so don't be shy. But please keep in mind, try to work out on your feedback. Thanks for your kind attention. Wish you all the best for your proposal submission. And if you meet somewhere in the world, please treat me coffee, have a coffee, treat. Any questions? Please welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sudhakar. It was really a wonderful session, throwing lights on the quality of the proposal. So the floor is open to all. Any questions? Please feel free to ask, or you can post in the chat box.
Yes, please.
Otherwise.
All questions are appreciated, please.
Sir, good evening.
Yes, please.
I have a few questions.
Yes.
Sir, exactly how to address the societal impact, particularly when you're addressing the social responsibility, the impact on the particular project, by using the references or any other supporting content, how to justify it?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so more like a impact statement, as I mentioned, it's not available in textbook or mostly in a common platform. So you need to work out a little bit more in a smart analysis or a storyboard, for example. If you tell me your research field, then I can give you a good example. What's your research field on it?
Flexible supercapacitors.
Fantastic. Okay, so supercapacitors is one of the hot topic at the moment in the energy storage sector. Okay, now the societal impact, for example, how the energy storage can be helpful to the society. So before jump into this topic, you need to work out what is the power shortage in a region, or what is the existing energy storage in the region, and how your supercapacitor technology will save them. Okay, to save them to save the society. For example, power shortage, it affect the industries. Power shortage affect the hospitals. Power shortage affect the transport. So you can tell them, so how your system can help this much number of people or this field or society, something like that. Okay. So either you can give a statement directly or indirectly. Directly, it's directly helpful then. Indirectly, maybe the supercapacitor goes to any industry, that industry indirectly help to the society. Did you understand? So you need to work a lot at different parameters, already existing problem, and how your particular technology directly or indirectly helpful to the society. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one more right on a challenging issue before submitting the research proposal.
Yeah.
We has to come to identify the final on maybe the overall amount be on the instrument price. Instrument amount is always is nothing but the crucial because it's not a fixed one. So before submitting the proposal, whether we have to collect the instrument price or quote from the various on the sellers, is it needed?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's always appreciated. So we reviewers always appreciate it. For example, when you are sitting in a panel, forget about review. Reviewer put the score, the blind review. 5 reviewers, we got a 5 reviews. Okay. The panel means sitting 10 people finalized in the panel in one single day. So supercapacitor, 5 people got a very similar score, or 2 proposals came into the final decision. So we will check the budget. The budget, some guy put a random number, for example, 25 lakhs around. The other guys work it out, 22 lakhs and 50,000 got a 3 proposal with a 10% variation in the market inflation. So we will always prefer the second guy. You can understand? How, as long as if you do a homework with industry, you will put more scope. So getting quotation, free quotations are always appreciable.
Thanks a lot, sir. That's very
thank you.
helpful. Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? I think I can see I think a lot of PhD or postdocs or young faculties are joining here. I didn't know, I guess. So if you have any question for your first grant, or if you already submitted, if you face any problem, then I can share my experience.
Any questions? You can post it in chat box.
Is there any postdoctoral candidates here?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Don't be shy.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello. Hello,
sir, this
Mohammed.
is Sharik. Sir, this is Mohammed Sharik. I'm a postdoctoral student working with Professor Nirmala. Sir,
Okay.
I did have a confusion with respect to deliverables.
Okay.
And milestones I understood completely, but with respect to deliverables, it can be like the articles that can be published with the outcomes of the results of the proposal and patents, or it's simply the projects, it's simply the project reports.
Okay. As I mentioned, the milestone is a big achievement. I can say that even patent will become under milestone. It's not a small thing.
Okay,
the deliverables
okay,
is it's a short term or a long term. It should be measurable. For example, the outcomes of the results will be presented in international conference and national conference, as well as in reputed peer review journals. That is one type of deliverables. And the critical issues of affecting the particle size of the nanomaterials will be identified. This is another type of deliverables. For example, whatever the degrading factors of the supercapacitor is identified and sought out, that is a deliverable. Did you understand? In terms of milestone,
yes, sir.
In terms of milestone, for example, 300 hours in a single charge that is a milestone. You understand?
Yes.
Or 1 liter hydrogen I produce in 1 hour. That is a big milestone. Did you get the point?
Sir. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I find the differentiators between deliverables and milestones. And sir, is there any plagiarism limit for the literature review? What we are like putting the research gaps, are journalized plagiarism or accuracy metrics?
Okay, so to be honest, we never use any plagiarism because the plagiarism, I don't know why. If you are writing your own statement, there is no need of plagiarism. But when you start the proposal in the beginning stage, definitely we inspire with literature review, we copy paste and we cite writing. I know, I can understand, I accept it. Okay, the best way, as I mentioned, the best practice is storyboard. For example, don't ever try to write a sentence immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Make a PowerPoint. Collect the keywords. Collect the keywords. It's more good example. It's the highlights when you submit the journal. These days, science journals, they're asking highlights. Okay. Similar style. Okay. Populate your own hand notes. Your own hand notes in a storyboard. Single sentence with bullet points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after that, just elaborate the highlight points in the sentences. In this case, you don't need any plagiarism. You understand? Simple grammar, simple sentences are always appreciable. Don't see reviewer. It doesn't expect any very fantastic English phrases. As long as if you write a simple proposal, I mean simple writing, you get a very high score. Okay. So plagiarism software you don't need require when you practice like a storyboard to the populate to the big set phrases. Okay. That's my suggestion for you.
Yeah. We write somewhere. I like while I was preparing some proposals for my postdoc, there were like contingency plans. Sir, how can we address these contingency?
Well, like you're talking about the contingency plan. Okay, as I mentioned, if you go to we call it the justification of resources or breakdown cost. Here, yes, here. Look at here. The contingency, you can categorize your staff salary, travel and subsistence, if you need equipment, but equipment, be careful. The most of the funding agencies, they have a top limit. For example, 10,000, 25,000, don't go beyond, okay? And other cost means if you have any plan to buy consumables, other cost means, consumables, chemicals, materials purchase, or outside, like if you take a cement 10 XPS outside, what is the sample cost, okay? Analysis cost.
Yes, sir.
And of course, if you like some other contracts, what is that? Okay. So categorize each topic.
Yes, sir.
That's called contingency or breakdown statement. Okay. As I mentioned, don't put chemicals 25,000. Again, I mentioned what are the chemicals? Sir. Solvents, metal precursors.
Okay, sir.
Put some idea like a titanium isopropoxide or ethanol, or substrates like a IQ substrate or SU substrate.
Yes,
some parameters, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Any other? Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. Sir, these are my queries, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Excellent questions, sir. You can see some comments in the chat box. 1 second. Okay, good evening from Darshini. Thank you. What kind of projects should not be submitted to the proposal? Are there any projects like that, sir? What kind of projects? I think what kind of information should not be submitted to the proposal? Am I right? So in this case, don't put any negative sentences or sensitive statement or irrelevant statement to the proposal. That's what I understand. Maybe please write with clarity. Okay, from Madhya Lagan star, if I want to do postdoc in some European university, currently pursuing PhD, first, I should write the proposal and apply it to the university. Yes, okay. It's a good question. For example, after completing your PhD or during the finally also you are eligible to apply JSPS or Marie Curie Fellowship. So first job, download the call details and particularly the template. Okay? JSPS, they have own template. Marie Curie, they have own template. Every funding agency, they have own template. Okay. So questions. So as I mentioned, either PowerPoint or Word, put it at questions in left hand side and write the answers right hand keywords in the right hand side. So before that, you need to contact the host supervisor and make some homework and identify the connectivity between the host supervisor lab and how your research will be complementary to the particular lab or particular person. Okay, so these are all the background work. Leave it. So yes, you can apply it. Only thing, you need to develop the proposal. But in overseas, what we are trying to help the candidates, we connect the candidates through the research office. The research office always give you a signpost, and we will help you. Sometimes we will conduct some kind of orientation course to help you how to write the proposal. Sometimes the supervisor will help you to the multiple correction, help you. But you need to work out in a preliminary proposal. You have to write it. Yes, you can plan bit early. And sorry, other question. Okay, that's it. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think there are no more questions.
Okay.
If there are no more questions, we'll wind up with the session. So once again, thank you, Dr. Sudhakar, for accepting our invitation. It was really
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for all the participants, and wish you all the best for your proposal submission. Bye, Anand sir. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Dear participants, please fill the form. If already submitted, please ignore. Thank you. Already link shared in the chat box. Thank you.